There are so many interesting, horrifying, or downright weird things in this big world of ours.
Each week, we'll bring you a new true crime story that has little to no coverage in English.
Let us do the translations, so you don't have to.
I am Petra.
I'm Victoria.
And I'm Laura. Welcome to the podcast Translation Murder. So I am going this week, and we have, like I hinted at last time, we have a Swedish case. And it's a bit of a shorter case today, and it happens in Visby, in Gotland, and it's a cold case, and it may just be solvable, but we'll see, like, what you guys
So
think.
we'll have room for speculation.
Yes, plenty. So I'm like,
going to
that's what I was
solve
like,
it.
it's because I was thinking it's a shorter episode, but will it actually be?
It depends.
It depends on us. So, yay. Okay, so as I said, it takes place in Gotland, which happens to be Sweden's largest island, and it covers an area of 3,183.7 kilometers squared, or 1,229.2 square miles. So, not that you need to write down that information, but yeah, it's kind of a nice-sized island. It currently, as of 2024, has a population of 61,023 inhabitants, and most of them do live in the city of Visby. So, yeah. I remember Petra saying last time that she wanted to go to Visby as well. What was your reasoning? Like, you said it was pretty looking, but did you have any other reason besides?
Yeah, basically that. It's a popular destination for Finns. I think there's even sometimes like cruises that you can take a ferry from Finland, like an overnight ferry that you sleep there and next day it arrives and then you go around the city, and the same kind you have for Stockholm, but
And
it's
Tallinn,
not
I
as
guess.
often.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay.
It's so much in the south, sort of.
Yeah.
Didn't realize it.
Yeah, and I don't, the reason I want to go, and it's a bit off topic, I'll have like a little short blurb, because history, yay. So yeah, I've always wanted to go because like the archaeological sites that are there, because there's this major battle of Visby that happened in 1361 between the Danish king Valdemar IV and the Goths.
Voldemort the Fourth?
Yeah, Valdemar the
Ah,
Fourth.
Valdemar. I'm like Voldemort the Fourth.
Voldemort,
The fourth.
What
yeah,
kind of
J.K.
battle?
Rowling got it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Wait, sorry.
Yeah.
This is off topic, but
Yeah.
you know the Voldemort laughing weirdly?
Yes.
Like little clip from the Harry Potter movies, one of them.
Yeah.
There are these entire YouTube compilations of the different dubbing, like dubbing the laugh
Yeah.
in different languages.
Yeah.
It's
I think I've seen
so
something
funny.
similar. Yes.
so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good. So yeah, so it was between the Danish king Valdemar the Fourth
Okay.
and the Goths, or the northern. It was a northern Germanic tribe that lived there in Gotland. And so basically, Gotland was also fought over, pretty constantly between Denmark and Sweden. And then there was like this tribe in the middle, like, okay, what the fuck? We're paying taxes to Sweden and whatnot, but then the Danish people want us, and it's a whole thing, right? So there was this archaeological discovery, mass graves from this war, or from this battle, and there's like plenty of intact armor, and it kind of gives you an interesting, snapshot into like what the medieval warfare was like. And there's even reenactments of the battle, like each summer, and they have like the Battle of Visby and whatnot, and like being part of like the Buhurt stuff, like you can model your armor, like so this kind of medieval combat stuff that I used to do. One of the types of armor that I was looking at to kind of recreate or whatever was the Visby armor, but I didn't end up doing the plate of coats, or coat of plates, I mean. But anyway, but there's pretty cool armor and like lots of intact skeletons and interesting stuff there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds like plenty of good reasons to go.
Yes. Yeah.
Another idea for a podcast trip.
Field trip. Yeah. So, yeah, just needed to put that in there. Yeah, I do not work for the tourism board of Gotland, but or Visby, but you should go. If
We don't believe you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, secret agent for tourism agency. Okay. Anyway, so moving on to the current case. So going like what 600 or whatever, how many years? Hundreds of years in the future from the Battle of Visby. The current case has nothing to do with medieval battle, and it happened in pretty much modern day Visby in a hotel called the Visby Hotel. Very inventive name, I know.
Okay, I think I don't have to write this down. I'm gonna maybe remember.
Yeah. So on December 12th, 1996, a day before the holiday of Lucia. So, okay, another aside. I probably need to explain Lucia to people who are not in the Nordic countries. It's a holiday to commemorate Saint Lucy, or Lucy of Syracuse, and it's kind of apparently back in the Roman days. She brought food to Christians in some Roman catacombs, and she used this candle on her head in order to like be able to carry more food in her hands and her arms. So she like put a candle on her head, and that's the way she lit herself in the catacombs to bring food to these, people.
Wait,
that were
this is December 13th?
This happens on the day before Saint Lucy, but Saint Lucia is on the 13th of
Yeah,
December.
we have the same thing in Hungary. I think the celebration is
Oh.
different, but it's
Okay.
well,
I thought
it's not
it's
really
in order.
celebrated,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah. Like
Lutsanop.
what is it called?
Lutsanop.
Oh.
Lutsa is the name.
It's like Nop night or something? Or
Nop is day,
day. Okay. Damn it.
and also sun.
Oh, okay. Oh. Nop.
Yeah.
I will have to ask you how to
N-A-P.
spell. Oh, okay. Yep. Yeah. Yeah. So this is quite, I don't know, common holiday. You see some random children in a procession, right? Like in a parade. One is Saint Lucy, has their candle on their head. Obviously not a wax candle anymore, probably nowadays.
I think at least in Helsinki, they choose the official Lucia of the year, and they will have to have this crown of real candles.
Oh,
But
that
in
sounds
schools,
dangerous.
it's fake candles. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have this in school? Were you part of the procession or anything like that, or Petra?
No, I was just looking at it.
Okay.
I was never chosen to be a Lucia or anything.
You didn't have to try to get the position in some nefarious ways, beat the other children up, or so they couldn't be. You didn't have
I do think
aspirations.
that there is all kind of stuff like that going on, but I was never that type of kid.
So you had no aspiration to be Saint Lucy. Okay.
Yep.
Good to know. All right. I mean, I guess it could kind of be a little bit prestigious, like if your kid is chosen, and you get to be in front of the whole town and as this biblical figure, I guess. But yeah, anyway. So
Yeah.
Is there something about making a chair related to this day
I'm not
in
sure.
the Nordic countries? Because the only thing I remember from the Hungarian kind of tradition, which is really not much, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not very prepared. But there's this Lutsa-széke, so chair of Lucia, they start making it on that day, and it has to be ready by Christmas, and they can only do like one kind of part per day or something like that.
Okay.
So it's not a thing. Okay,
Never
it's
heard.
just
Yeah. Yeah, me either. But there's usually this was the food thing that I was going to bring up this time, but there's these saffron buns that are eaten, right? Like during this time, like these in the
I
shape
heard
of
about the saffron buns. I didn't know it was related to this.
Yeah.
But
At least I think it
it's-
is.
Yeah, I think that's quite Swedish thing. Maybe
Yeah.
also Swedish-speaking Finns, but I don't see them much in Finland, or I'm not sure if I have ever eaten one.
Yeah, it's like in the shape of an S, I think. This
Yeah,
saffron bun, and then it's so
I think
There's-
the Swedish-speaking Finns probably do those.
yeah,
It's kind of my vague image.
yeah, yeah. I need to ask my parents because they're currently in Sweden right now. They'll be coming back on the 13th. So actually, I wonder if they'll eat some. I think I saw some saffron buns. They sent me some photos of some fika stuff that they were eating, and I think there were some saffron buns in there. Yeah, I haven't eaten one before, but I don't know if it's sweet or not, or if it's savory, or kind of a mix
sweet.
of both. Yeah, okay.
It's like a
It
pulla.
looks sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should look up a recipe. Anyway, so yeah, saffron
This
buns.
this chair tradition looks so interesting. I wish I knew more about it before, but we don't have the time now. I can tell it next time. I can read about it. And
I
tell
mean,
it next time.
we
There's a
might
lot
have
of stuff
time at the
about
end of
this.
the day, at the end of this episode. Who knows? But yeah. Okay, so the case that we're talking about takes one day before St. Lucia, or the St. Lucy's Day, on December 12th, 1996. So you can write that information down. The victim was a night receptionist, 46-year-old Christina Olofsson, and she was described as a happy, social, caring person who didn't have any known enemies. According to a colleague, on this night, Christina wasn't in a very good mood due to a Christmas party happening at the hotel. And there was live music, which Christina wasn't a fan of, loud noises or mess. So she sounds like an introvert in a extroverted type of job. But yeah, I could imagine, like these pikkujoulut, like these small Christmas parties or office Christmas parties. Like if you're sober and there's a bunch of drunk people around, I can imagine the amount of annoyance that these people are bringing. So
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, she was working, right?
yeah, she's like the front desk person,
Yeah.
or like the night receptionist.
So I guess they also come there with their stupid requests.
Yeah,
And-
yeah. Because I gathered like that these people had just shown up like in kind of a meeting area or kind of like this convention type area, maybe had some food at the hotel, and then they weren't staying the night at the hotel, but they were like just, I don't know, if you go to like some fancy place for Christmas dinner or something and then just like leave. So it wasn't actual hotel guests that were,
Yeah, yeah.
but
Of
yeah,
course,
but
hotels
probably some
offer-
stupid requests as well. Like,
Yeah.
where's the bathroom? And
Yeah. I don't know if they were like partying, like, how can I get the volume up or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, drunken revelers probably weren't the type of people she wanted to be around this particular night. And I gathered that sometime before 3 in the morning, all the Christmas party guests had gone home at this point. So there were still hotel guests, but like staying in the hotel itself. But the ones for the pikkujoulut or the Christmas party had already like just left by 3. And this is why, because there was a hotel guest at 3 o'clock in the morning who sees Christina and says hello to her on their way to the elevator. But before he enters the elevator, he also hears a metallic sound coming from like a closed off corridor. So just some random metallic noise that they hear down a corridor. I don't have any more
Pay that much
information on that.
attention. Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess it was weird enough to actually notice that there was a sound coming from the closed off corridor, but not like a definitive sound like, oh yes, it's definitely like a something scraping on some tile or a clang or whatever of this particular thing. So
It could be a lot of different things.
Yeah.
A key falling on
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
So not like weird enough that
But
you
probably
would go
louder
look.
than that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next timestamp of importance is at 6:15 a.m. So we have the hotel guest at 3, and then 3 hours and 15 minutes later, approximately, another source said at 5:55 a.m. So basically from, let's just say 5:55 to 6:15, the next timestamp is of importance during this time. Another hotel employee notices that the front desk is unmanned, and they find Christina dead next to the office with extensive injuries to her eyes and head. And then there's bolt cutters, which were part of the property, like of the hotel. They were found next to her, and they were the murder weapon. So, any questions at this point?
What is a bolt cutter?
So basically these huge kind of, looks like garden shears, but a little bit shorter, blades. So huge scissor-looking things that used to cut
But the
bolts.
blades are shorter and
Yeah.
the handles are
Okay.
longer.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
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 Yeah. Yeah.
What do you mean her eyes were injured?
Yeah, that was an interesting thing. So I think they're trying to keep a little bit of the like injuries and some of the more detailed stuff secret because like so I don't know if like they like I don't know, I was just imagining, you know, the whole in movies how they press
Yeah, me too.
thumbs into the eye sockets or something because it just seems a bit weird like to focus on eyes. Like if you're punching
Yeah.
somebody, you know, yes, you'll get a black eye possibly, but it's not going to be like I'm focusing on your eyes. It's like kind of you're punching the head. You're not really focusing on punching
Yeah,
an eye
it's just
socket.
weird that they highlighted that the eyes were injured. Like in what way?
Yeah,
So of course, if the head is injured, that might contain the eyes as well.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
injuries to the eyes, but
Yeah.
it's just
And you know the Lucia story, going back to that, that
No.
in many of the versions, her eyes are hurt, like someone makes her blind by
What the
injuring
fuck?
her eyes.
Oh.
And
Okay, that's
I
creepy.
didn't know this.
I did not know
because
this.
I think there's several versions of the saint story of her, but I think in many of them she becomes blind.
Oh, that's really... That adds another layer to this.
that's an
Yes.
interesting coincidence if
Yes.
it is
Yeah.
a coincidence.
Huh. Very interesting, actually.
Might not be related at all.
See,
but
might,
just
we might
interesting to-
actually solve this.
Yeah, I
today.
think we
yeah,
just solved
yeah,
the
yeah.
case.
Nobody
I think-
must
I
have
think.
never thought of this, but
But this wasn't mentioned in any of the articles, so yeah,
okay. Yeah.
actually quite interesting. Huh. Yeah, we just solved the case. No. Yeah. So okay, so the murder weapon was indeed bolt cutters, I guess by blunt force trauma to her head or other places in her body. And so now we have kind of the timeline between 3 and 6-ish was when she was murdered approximately in the morning. And then another interesting fact was that money was also missing out of the till. So like, or out of the, I think there was like a box in the back in like, because they have, you know, the front desk and then they had their own hallway, corridor, whatever. And then there was an employee office area. And I think the lockbox or something I gathered was where the money was stored at. So not like at the front desk. I think I don't think it was stored there, but money was missing, and it was anywhere from like a couple different sources said different things. So I just put 7,000 to 13,000 SEK. So I guess what is it, like 700 to 1,300
300.
euros ish.
It's not too much money.
Yeah. And then there were, this is the part where I think that the money was actually stored there, was that there were marks on the office door indicating that the perpetrator had broken into the door, so they didn't have a key. They like knew where the office was, and they possibly broke in there for the money, or at least that's what was maybe insinuated with some of the sources that I read. So, yeah. So at this point, it's kind of looking like a robbery, but yeah. But the eyes thing, sounds a bit more like a serial killer thing. I don't know. It just sounds like too weird,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Or I'm not sure. Like, was this something that they always highlighted in every source? Like somehow this was a specific thing. The eyes.
Yes, it was. Yeah. But yeah, no correlation to the Saint
Also,
Lucia.
for just a robbery, and like, why would they think that there's so much money there that it's worth robbing
Yeah,
a
like
hotel
hotel.
office?
Yeah, hotel seems a bit weird because I think 1996 you're still using a credit card, right? I mean,
Yeah. Credit cards definitely existed in 1960.
yeah, they did. But like, I mean, or I haven't spent that much time in Sweden where I'm like, okay, it's like Germany, you know, it's cash is king in Germany, but I don't know if the same thing is in Sweden, for instance.
But I
And
think it's
usually-
still like what it was in the 90s. I don't. Oh, Postivan is moving my mic. But still, like hotels are a bit special case. I would assume
Yeah.
even in Germany
yeah,
you could pay by credit card in hotels because
Because I mean,
if you
usually
stay
they're
for a
more
week, it's a
expensive.
big, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So maybe it is kind of a good robbery point. I mean, back in those days, like if you're paying for like, it depends. And then also if you're paying for your like room service or that type of stuff, maybe more in cash or, yeah.
But there wasn't too much money there.
Exactly.
No.
I think many people do pay with credit card
Yeah.
at this point of time in
Yeah,
hotels.
of course we can't know what's
Yeah.
the normal amount. Was this less than usual, what they usually have there?
Yeah. So it's kind of looking like a robbery, but such a low amount of money. So the police carry out an investigation and they interview all 60 hotel guests. So it's actually like a sizable, small, like boutique-looking kind of hotel, 60 guests. And there was a shoe impression collected at the scene, and it was a Reebok ExoFit High, which I guess is a very particular Reebok shoe. Maybe I should actually look it up and we can post it to Instagram because I'm not even sure what it looks like. And it was in the size 43. So I'm guessing, being stereotypical, either a typical man's shoe or a very, very large woman's foot. So, yeah. 'Cause I think
Wait, what was it? Reebok ExoFit
High.
High. Okay.
And then some guests, actually, which is quite interesting because remember, it was between 3 and 6 o'clock that that she's, was probably murdered. Some guests claimed that they also heard a car start in that like window of time, and it drove to the city center, and there was like a broken muffler, so kind of like clangy sound, I guess. But which is weird. Like it must have been really, really noisy to wake you up between 3 and 6 o'clock in the morning, in my opinion. So that's kind of a bit odd. So.
Of course, was it say that they wake up? Like you can all be awake from
you can
going
already
to
be
toilet
awake
or whatever.
Yeah, true, but a bit weird to like muffler noise. That I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would think about it, in the morning if I'm just waking up to go pee and like, I got 3 o'clock, broken muffler noise headed towards the city center. It seems a bit weird. Okay.
Headed towards the city center sounds that
how
they
do they
actually
know that?
checked from the window.
That's
like,
what I mean. Like also,
yeah.
like you have to check the direction, or like I guess with your hearing you can kind of guesstimate if is it going left or right, down the road, and so that was mentioned at least in some articles. So police think that there were actually 2 perpetrators. So one male and the other female. There was DNA evidence found, which pointed to there being indeed a male. And then, interestingly, a technician during, like a police technician, Tommy Löfqvist, at the Gotland Police Department had in his notes. So, like, there was this case, like, there's this podcast that happened, I think, like, a couple of years ago. And they were going through this guy's notes, this Tommy Löfqvist's notes. And he had previously passed away, so they just had his notes. They couldn't ask him any questions about this. And in the notes, he was like, he had found powder in the armpit or the arm crease of Christina's clothes, or the victim's clothes. And it is speculated that Christina fought off the attack. So the powder could be, like, if you're trying to grab somebody or grab someone's face, maybe, that it could have been maybe powder makeup, is what I gathered, or something similar.
Because powder sounds very, like a very general thing.
But like what other powder would be on somebody, like that's kind of on your clothes in like a weird position, or like on the arm, like if there's nothing around an office and she fought off the attacker, like I don't know, it's like when you go to hug somebody and you have like a lot of powder makeup and then it gets on someone's clothes, it's kind of easy transferable.
But would they call that powder?
I think I would, yeah, makeup powder.
Also, it could also be hers.
Yeah, but I guess they would have maybe crossed that out to see like if she was wearing the same powder or whatever. Yeah, so it was most likely, at least I gathered, it could have been makeup powder from a woman smeared during the scuffle. So, yeah.
So that's why they think that there was a second person
Yes.
that was a woman.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
I guess so, yeah. And then also just because, well, I guess the attack and stuff, like, yes, there's the male DNA, and then also, I guess, with, I guess the nature of the attack, it seemed like there could have been two people, so. And like I said, there's probably some more information that they're not releasing necessarily because they still have some people to go through, I guess. So
Even weirder why they murdered her if there were two people.
yes,
Yeah, but I'm
Doesn't
not
seem necessary.
too sure about this two people hypothesis. It sounds a bit like if the powder in her armpit is the only reason to.
I mean, it might not be the only reason.
Yeah, of course.
yeah.
True.
Other tips about the possible perpetrator or perpetrators was that Christina could have known her attackers, actually, and that's why she was the target. So basically, or they were estimated or like kind of coming to the conclusion that due to the burglary, it seems that someone knew the hotel. They knew the layout of the hotel, where the money could have been, the office, etc., and possibly the time schedule where they could have easily come into the hotel and left without anybody noticing, right? So, so it could have just been that she was at the wrong place at the wrong time, you know, or just wasn't expected to be at the front desk to view the people, or she wasn't supposed to be in the office, for instance, where they would have seen, where she would have seen the perpetrators. So,
Are they thinking that it could have been kind of previous employees or someone who...
they did check into that. There was one, well, we'll get into that too, which is my next line. This led to an arrest of one previous 27-year-old hotel worker on November 27th, 2002, so 6 years later, actually. But there was not enough evidence to hold him for the murder. And he also had a previous criminal record, so this was kind of most fitting person to fit the crime.
Yeah.
But there was... I wonder if I have it in my notes or did I not write it down. But yeah, there were some other people too that were kind of brought in for questioning, but there was just nothing substantial to make them stick, you know, with the investigation. And then more recently, about 6 years ago, Stockholm Police's special cold case unit or group had started testing the DNA and interviewing more people, and there were some potential matches to DNA. But like the DNA I read was so weak, or there wasn't like enough of it, so it's kind of like each time you test, the more you degrade the DNA sample. So it's a bit shitty that you need to kind of wait until the technology advances enough that you don't need that much, or just like, you know, kind of try to get lucky with some familial DNA or something like that. So
it doesn't work like in all the cool investigation programs where you kind of put it somewhere and then you can it makes the picture of it in computer, and then you can, like, you need each time to compare the actual original DNA.
Yes.
I think there might be some advanced methods. I kind of have this very vague memory about, like, Paul Holes talking about it in one of the podcasts, maybe a Small Town Dicks, recently.
I think,
or some company.
Because I think you can like take a sample and like a picture of the DNA, like as a sample, and like the alleles or whatever it is, like the markers for the DNA, and then you'll always have that like to compare to other things. But I'm not sure if the DNA itself is weak enough or not enough, big enough sample. I'm guessing that, yeah, you're kind of. Is it enough hits on the DNA to correctly match with someone else, or like, yeah?
Where is this DNA from, or what kind of
they also
DNA
don't say
is
that.
it?
Also,
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's some potential DNA matches, which is interesting. They seem hopeful that the case could be solved, but that was also 6 years ago. But then, like, there doesn't seem to be much headway in the case as of 2024. But in the summer of 2020, the DNA was sent off to a lab abroad, and there were a couple hundred hits in the DNA family registry. So
Couple hundred.
yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, it makes sense. Like if you're on a small island of Gotland,
Sure.
that you could have quite prevalent family lines or something in the, like, yeah. But then, due to many reasons, one being COVID, for instance, of 2020, there wasn't much done in narrowing down the subject pool. So, yeah, that it's a bit shitty that it's kind of slowed down since even like 2018 to 2024. There's not really much done. There's still some stuff being done, but like, it's just, yeah, a bit of a pity. So there's this criminologist and writer, Leif Persson, and he claims that, like, he's kind of this well-known criminologist and writer. So he claims, this is his theory, that the person or persons that attacked Christina had financial difficulty, and then that was the only reason why Christina was murdered, was because she knew the burglars. Like, either it was an employee or a former or current worker that happened to be working on like the renovation at the hotel at that time, because there were some hotel renovations. So it could have been
It seems kind of weird. Why would they have,
Yeah.
murdered her otherwise?
Exactly. Then you could just like run away and then gone to Stockholm and laid low with some money, because there probably wasn't like many hotel security cameras or anything like that. And then you're just on one person's eyewitness recollection and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah,
So
because
indeed.
you would assume that even if she kind of accidentally came there to
Yeah.
witness them,
Yeah.
that they would, just give some threats like, hey,
Yeah.
we will kill you. And then she would, like, usually people get afraid and they're like, okay, you can go. Like, why would you
Yeah.
care about the money of your employer that much?
Exactly. Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
I feel like robbery like this, like what's the worst kind of punishment that they could have gotten? Probably not that bad.
yeah, probably a couple years, I'm guessing. Maybe of suspension.
Maybe not even
Yeah,
that.
maybe some community service or something, I would assume.
So
Because it's not that much money. Like, usually in the States,
No.
there's, this limit is at 5,000, or I forget the monetary value that it's, if it's below that, it's a certain amount. But then if it's above a certain amount, then it's like a burglary or whatever, like, or, yeah. So it goes up the sentence based on the money value that you stole. So 700 euros isn't really that much money. But
maybe they expected more.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
But still,
they wouldn't have committed that hideous crime if they had
yeah,
just
like now
someone.
this made it like a million times worse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah.
That which kind of leads you to think that is that all, like, if they were just random people out of money, why, like, I don't think your regular burglar is up to a homicide in the end.
And the thing is that they used the bolt cutters that were from the hotel too. They didn't bring a weapon to
Yes,
kill her.
that's what I was gonna ask. That was that from the hotel?
Yes, it was. So
Maybe you said this.
yeah.
Mhm.
So basically, I think that since they didn't bring a weapon to kill her, supposedly, I assume, I don't think they brought a gun, because why would you bring a gun if you're trying to be silent? Or a knife or some other object, but they used
And if you brought a gun, why didn't you use that instead
Exactly.
of a bolt cutter?
Yeah, and bolt cutter seems quite improvised as a weapon, in my opinion.
Where was that kept before? Do we know?
I'm guessing
where
in the
was it?
office. I think in the
Okay.
office, because it's like if you need to get into some place that some. Yeah, I'm just wondering why a hotel has bolt cutters, but yeah.
Like the renovation side
Why
would
not?
have made sense, maybe. Like if there's a
Maybe.
renovation going on, they need that for something, but it doesn't sound like a regular office stuff. But I don't know, I have never worked in a hotel, so maybe there's some surprising need for that.
Maybe they just have a toolbox with all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, unless
just
you need
in
to cut
case.
off a lock from the room or something, if it gets locked, if you lock yourself in, or like there's the. Yeah. It seems a bit of an odd piece
like
of.
if the lock breaks and you can't open it with the common key. And
Yeah. So
Or maybe the hotel rooms had this like chain thing from the
that
inside.
could also
So if that
yes,
needs to
that
be
would
yeah,
actually
that
make
makes
sense,
sense.
because I
Yeah.
think older hotels often have that or had
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that would easily be something.
Yes.
Okay, we'll go with that. Good theory.
That is definitely the reason.
Yes, it
Yes.
must be.
Now we know.
Has to be. Yeah, so I don't think that it was they were intentionally there to kill anybody. I think it just happened. But then the eye thing is a bit weird. Like, why
It is
focus
weird.
on the eyes?
I mean,
yeah.
I still think that there is a possibility that
still think.
that just happened. Like, if they were having some kind of brawl, or like she was trying to defend herself, that maybe it just happened to hit her eyes more than necessary sounds weird.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what but more than necessary.
more than in other cases where people have been hit to head, like and for the people who found her, it might have looked just like, okay, that's a horrible eye injury, but maybe the
But
eyes
both
weren't
eyes too?
a point.
Yeah. Still a bit weird, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sound like they just hit her head and then somehow
Yeah.
one of her eyes got injured plus the head, but it's
Well,
like
yeah.
specifically to the
I'm
eyes.
imagining both thumbs in the eye sockets pressing, but that's
Yeah.
just my imagination.
But this, like, then the people sound like they are a very violent nature. Like, maybe this is not their, like,
I mean, to beat
First
someone with bolt
violence.
cutters, that's pretty violent. To, like,
Yeah.
bludgeon somebody to death is pretty violent.
it is. Yeah, like, it somehow sounded that they used excess violence. Like, I guess you could have just tried to hit someone once, and probably they would fall down, and then you could run.
And then, unless they knew, and then of course,
Yeah.
they need to
Yeah.
kill them. So, yeah. Okay, so, yeah.
Sounds like a very solvable case.
Yes, like,
With the car too, this loud car, like were they not able to find that car?
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah. But, yeah, so
Maybe that was unrelated, but yeah,
it could
sorry.
be, yeah. But yeah, so anyway, my next notes were, but anyway, the crime could be solved, and with like the DNA and the motive possibly being known, that they needed money, DNA, possibly a worker. I'm guessing, because why else would you go back? You probably saw somebody paying for something. If you're a renovation worker or something like that, or working at the hotel, you knew that there was going to be at least some cash there that you needed for Christmas, possibly. I don't know. And then there's just also many more, like, the only shitty thing is that there's more high-profile cases that are taking up the bandwidth of the police in Stockholm, so it's kind of just slowed down the investigation for this particular for this particular case. And yeah, my last note is that sadly every year on the anniversary of her murder, there is a memorial service held in her honor, so they still keep it alive, and like this many decades later they still remember Christina Olofsson. And yeah, that's my story for the day, and yeah, that is it.
Yeah, thank you. Sounds just such a pointless murder. I mean, all of them are pointless, but
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit...
Maybe it was a psycho who had some kind of Saint Lucia thing with the eyes.
Yeah.
or I thought that maybe that's how they try to make it look like that.
That would be really weird. But
That's that's just so obscure. Like I don't think they,
nothing was mentioned, not even with that, criminologist didn't mention the Saint Lucia thing. So
because
I
I think like now after hearing the whole story, it's not very, it doesn't
just a
sound
coincidence.
Like,
Yeah.
What about the metal sound?
Yeah, I was thinking that could it have been trying to either open the door or maybe even something like with getting the bolt cutters out like something in the hallway, maybe the door opening, or I don't know what type of door it was, but maybe something in the hallway, maybe someone trying to break into the office. That could have been
Yeah.
Could have been it.
Does this hotel still exist, by the way?
Oh, good question.
I will Google it
Well,
now.
I'm sure we
I
can
just saw
Google
like
it.
street view of it, but not like an old.
It seems to be, at least there is a Scandic hotel called Hotel Wisby.
Yeah, I
So-
guess it's the same as Clarion Hotel Visby.
Oh, but Clarion and Scandic is different.
Yeah.
Which one
but
is it?
I think it says Clarion because at least it
Okay.
looks like the photos.
But there's... Oh, okay.
It's spelled with a W.
Mm-hmm.
Hotel Visby with a W.
I'm just thinking that if it was really like a previous employee or someone who worked on a construction site or something like that, it's not so many people. Like, wouldn't they have found this person already
Yeah,
in that case?
and I mean,
I don't know if they took any DNA samples from, like, potential
yeah,
people.
and I mean,
pool.
population on Gotland in as of 2024 was only 61,023. So
Yeah,
there's not that
exactly.
many people probably even
No.
like.
So maybe it was like a guest. You can never know
Yeah,
who stays there and then they left.
yeah.
Oh, looks so nice. The hotel, I mean.
Mm-hmm.
There's even a pool.
That's where we are going to stay if we
Yes,
go.
of course.
Yeah,
It does look nice.
yeah, it does.
So you're sure that this is the same one?
Yes, it is. Yeah.
Oh, there's a pool.
It does
Or like a
look
spa
like it has
thing.
been definitely renovated after 96 at some point.
Yeah. Oh, I like the atrium. That looks nice. Okay. Yeah, so we're going to stay there if we go to Visby.
Are we
at some
sure
point.
that you're not part of the board of tourism of Visby?
Yes, everyone stay at the Clarion. It doesn't even seem that expensive. Like on booking.com, it's 81 euros per night.
Yeah, not too bad.
Hotels.com, 81. Yeah, decent.
Yeah, quite like cheaper than you would get a standard
Yeah.
hotel in Helsinki.
We will
So-
put an affiliate link in the description.
Yeah, maybe we can get some monetary compensation
Yeah.
for
from Visby and from Clarion and
Yeah,
whatever we
what
have
other
mentioned.
towns have I mentioned that are like, oh, visit here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Maybe I'll wrap it up then.
Yeah,
So,
very interesting. And okay, so just a last question. So you found this because there were some recent news related to the episode, or this is because it sounds like this is still kind of like maybe not a very active investigation, but something is happening.
Well, I kind of found it just because I was Googling some random unsolved Swedish murder cases. And then I was like, ooh, Visby. And then I was like, oh, it's kind of
Okay.
recent-ish. That happened to be like
Yeah.
enough information. So I was like, okay, this suits. Yeah.
But still, the DNA testing and all that was sort of recently, so maybe something will happen.
Yeah, fingers
Because this
crossed.
really does sound very solvable.
Yes, it does,
so
definitely.
keep us updated.
Yes, will do. I'll put some Google alert on my phone or something. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So is it Victoria going next time?
Yes, and it will be a pretty well-known cold case from Hungary.
Okay. Cold case or old case or both case?
Cold,
Cold, old,
cold,
old case.
not that old.
Okay.
Pretty newish, like not very new.
Okay.
But yeah,
So you have 2 cold cases in a row. Joy.
We can solve them.
Cold cases
Yes.
for the winter time. Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks for listening this week. You can follow us on Instagram at Translation Murder Podcast, and you can send us an email at translationmurderpodcast@gmail.com. Just don't send us what, Petra?
Dick pics.
Yeah, don't send those.
I'm glad we brought this back now.
Yeah, it was we went on and on the last episode, I think, about it. But yeah. So yeah, follow us. Like our podcast, subscribe, and rate it. Anything helps. Yeah, so until next time, hei paralla.
Bye.
Bye.